Hi everyone, welcome back to another great podcast of ours. Ben, today you're looking wonderful. I'm loving the Scandinavian vibes.
Love
this
it, Dan.
colour palette of yours is great.
Thank you, Dan. Do you mean that?
Yeah, honestly.
Thanks,
I
mate.
like the colour palette.
On today's podcast, we had our good friend James Threlfall, MBE, and he is the first person on the podcast we've ever had who has been on twice with us now, even though this is a different podcast. That confuses things a little bit. However, he was a really good guest. Dan, what do we speak about?
We really spoke about quite a lot, didn't we, Benji? We went from his childhood... Stella, will you be... Stella, here. Stella.
There's a dog in the studio! What's going on?
We spoke about all sorts, from James going to the Euro final not long ago in Wembley to his childhood thievery. Although I'm not too sure he'll want to talk about that. Or
And
that
throwing
being one of
apples
the
at
snippets.
mopeds as well.
Yeah. All that James is on the outside is different to what he's like on the inside. And that is what we found out about on this podcast. We've brought new questions to the podcast as well. So, yeah, looking forward to sharing it with you.
Thank you.
So you used to watch football back in the day? Like, years ago. Who's your favourite?
Yeah,
What
I still
team you
watch
support?
football.
But like from when Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was not.
No. Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were that into football.
That era.
No
I was
one
really
does.
Into, yeah.
No one knew Dan was into
I was
football
really
back
into
then.
Do you still follow football?
Nah, not so much now.
Just
I'm starting to
historic-
get back into
just
a little
historic
bit.
football.
Historic teams, yeah.
Just
Back when
historic
Newcastle
football.
wore black and white stripes and Alan Shearer
yeah.
played for them.
Yeah, that's
Good old days.
That's
you
the
know?
bold guy, right?
Yeah.
that was. To be fair, I didn't follow
Newcastle.
Can I just say we were having this conversation the other day? Like, don't you think a flake is like a really annoying version of a twirl, because a twirl has the chocolate around it to like contain the flakiness?
Because the flake doesn't.
Because the flake
flakes.
just goes wild. Take it out and it's like falling apart immediately.
I don't get why they do
What
that.
about a
value
Galaxy
for money.
Ripple, though?
Huh?
Galaxy Ripple?
I thought you said Galaxy Red Bull. Whoa. Yeah. I'm down with Galaxy Ripple.
I used to nick those when I shoplifted when I was a kid.
You shoplifted?
Well, like once or twice.
I did once again.
What did you shoplift?
We're
Are we rolling yet?
Yeah.
We are rolling.
We're rolling,
great.
We can
Yeah. Okay. So for disclaimer, I was about 7. I don't know that I want to go on record, but this is the opener for the.
Is this before or after you
We
went
started
to
a
church
little
and gave the
mix.
money to charity?
yeah.
In between those two things?
In between. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. No. Do you remember Lego Bionicles?
Yes, they were sick.
Yeah. My parents wouldn't get me one.
Why? Is this how it started?
This is how it started, right? This is on Sue and Phil. They wouldn't get me a Lego Bionicle. My mate Jack had loads of Lego Bionicles, and I was fuming.
Fuck Jack.
Yeah, right. We went to Woolworths, and I saw one, and I slipped it under my jumper, and then I was like, kind of walking. I don't know how this wasn't suspect as hell, right? Because they were I remember that it was like a big tube thing, and I somehow had it up my jumper, and then we got. I didn't realise. I thought we were going to go home. But my mum, as we got to the car park, it was always I could see the family car. And then my mum was like, "We're going in to get your hair cut." And I was like, it was like the hair. I remember the hairdressers on the corner, car parked there. And go in, and she's like, "Right, we need to take your jumper off for your haircut." And I'm like,
No.
I'm not getting out of this, am I? I'm like, yeah. And it was like nowhere to hide, man. It was like jumper comes off, I'm just like Lego. And I'm like 7 years old, like, damn it, man. And yeah, so she took me back to Woolworths.
Was she fuming?
Oh, she was fuming. And I was like, first thing I said, my dad, when we were younger, terrified of my dad. And now I'm like crying from memory. My dad is he's so mellow now. It's so funny. But when we were younger, it was like, if dad's mad at you, it's like, whoa. And yeah. I was like, don't tell dad. What she do? She tells dad. So there we go. So never took another Lego Bionicle, did I?
It's funny that you remember those stories as kids where you get in deep shit with the parents. Because I remember I came back from shopping and my mum and dad. That story for some reason reminded me of it. No, just my mum. And we're on the front drive, and there's obviously a road next to the drive, and we had a gravel driveway. And I'm literally just bored throwing stones into the road, quite hard. And then obviously, a car drives past, and I throw a stone at the windscreen, and it breaks the windscreen.
Wow.
And I'm 8, and obviously the driver gets out of his car, has a massive go at my mum. And then, they
smashed the windscreen,
yeah.
not just cracked it.
No, smashed it. Well, not
Wow.
You were strong.
It
You
had,
on bench, you
it
had
had to be.
strong
It had to be replaced basically. But I was young because obviously the cars go at like 30 miles an hour.
Most auto glass call-outs are free anyway.
Yeah,
so
because
that's fine.
you
I don't think I don't think it's free if you need a whole new windscreen.
It's funny you say that because the guy's windscreen I broke went on to start that company.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. No.
Dude, I was almost there for a minute. It's funny, that was the impetus for the start of
I remember my dad coming back from work that night, and I knew when he got home he was going to tell me off because obviously Mum's obviously phoned him, and I remember he was telling me off. He's like, "Why would you do it? Why would you throw stones into a road?" And I remember just saying, "I don't know, Dad."
Yeah.
I had no answer.
Dude, I had a similar one, like where my house used to be in Melton. This is a really bad start to a podcast, right? It's like, if anyone doesn't know me, it's like, here's all the crimes we did as children. But like, yeah, our house used to back onto the bypass in Melton, and we had an apple tree. And I guess just like super bored one day. And I was just chucking apples into the main road, which obviously don't do. Like, why are you doing that?
Better than stones.
Mate, one of them, though, like, you have that moment, like, you broke the windscreen, you're like, I'm never doing that again. I had a moment where I heard something coming, wung an apple. It's not a car, is it? It's a guy on a moped. And I clock him straight in the head. Straight in the head. And he was like, meh. And I was like, oh my God. Like, even as probably 6 years old at this point, I'm like, that wasn't cool, man. Like, I'm going back inside. We're not throwing apples anymore. So yeah, luckily that guy survived, dude. Luckily. But, oh my God, I'm like.
That gives more meaning to the phrase, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, doesn't it?
That's pretty bad. It's funny that you had to take yourself in. You just grab your own arm. Come on.
Yeah, I was like, all right. James, you've gone too far. I've had like so many moments in my life.
Did you get caught for that?
No, because it wasn't like he crashed or anything. But like, imagine if he had. And I, like, in my mind, even as probably 6 years old, I was like, if he'd crashed, that would have been really bad. And I'm like, I'm probably going to leave throwing apples at people now. Like,
there's probably a guy listening right now who's in his mid-40s. Yeah. Like, that's the best.
That was you. That was you. Yeah, I just remember, like, because I'm terrible at like tennis, like hand-eye coordination is not my bag, but sod's law, like the moment a moped comes past, I like crack it off his head, like perfect. Doesn't hit his leg, doesn't hit anything else, it's buff, like side of the head. And he's probably going like 30, 40 mile an hour, and I've like managed to time it perfectly to get him like bang straight.
Probably the hardest fruit you could get a hold of as well.
Probably,
yeah.
What fruit would you want thrown at you? What fruit wouldn't you want thrown at you?
A watermelon.
Pineapple.
Yeah, I was going to say pineapple.
It's like spiky as well.
Yeah.
So
have you seen those videos on? Are you on TikTok, James, at all? Do you watch it? Do you enjoy it?
I'm trying.
Are you a man of meme culture?
I like memes. I don't really like TikTok.
Yeah.
I haven't found my place on TikTok yet.
How many hours have you spent on the app?
Probably 2.
Right, you need to spend at least 20 hours for the algorithm to get up to speed.
You need to really invest in it, mate.
I don't know though, because I like a lot of stuff that I see shared from TikTok. I don't know.
Look, do you want to waste your life and be addicted to memes or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Coach me, show me the way.
You need to encourage yourself. But they had like one of the really funny things about TikTok I find is that there's like life hacks that no one's ever realised. Like there's something in your dishwasher you didn't know existed, and then people are like, oh my God, do I have that? And they go and check and they're like, fuck me, my dishwasher does that. I had no idea. People in their 40s, right? But there's one with a pineapple where they like pull the top off and then like roll it like a rolling pin. Yeah? And then the spikes on the pineapple? Yeah. You can pull them out as like...
you have them as like individual...
Individual like pineapple lollies.
What?
And that's how you're supposed to eat it.
Whereas I don't think... Yeah, but you say that's how you're supposed... Like, that's like it was like a brand. The brand of pineapple decided.
Yeah. But like, it's how the fruit is made. Like, once you see it, you think...
Yeah, but I don't think they thought, like, like animals or whatever have rolling pins, so...
No, but you roll it like a rolling pin.
Oh, you roll it like a rolling pin?
To loosen it.
Okay.
To loosen the spikes, and then the spikes...
Have you tried it yourself?
I haven't, but a lot of people on TikTok have,
Have we got any pineapples?
Josh, can you go out and get one? It's all right. Thanks, mate. What about eating kiwis? How do you eat a kiwi?
I don't like kiwis.
But if you was to eat one, how would you eat it?
I wouldn't. Amber always tries to give me kiwis, and I say, no, babe, you know I don't like kiwis.
I think,
do you just eat it like an apple?
No.
Some people do, you see.
Well, they eat the skin?
I don't know, maybe.
I've tried that, and it's really weird, because the fibres go all over your tongue.
Isn't it hairy?
Yeah. Very hairy.
I'd probably peel it. I think the only time I've eaten...
Peel it? Like a potato peeler?
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'd quarter it and then just eat it like that, like an orange.
They do look like large testicles, though, don't they, kiwis?
Yeah, they're quite close. Yeah, quite close to testicles. Yes.
I'm glad we've gone
Green
here already.
Green inside.
How long have we been on?
5 minutes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We've covered childhood crimes and
Pineapples.
genitalia-esque.
We spoke earlier about Woolworths. You went into Woolworths to get your Lego. Any other high street shops that you're really fond of that you kind of miss?
Oh.
I mean, Halfords used to be a great high street shop.
Halfords
there was one in
Halfords still exists.
But on the high street, see, they've usually got their own units now. But back in the day, like Cirencester,
Halfords was on the high street?
Yeah, in Cirencester, yeah, it's gone now.
Was that just the Cirencester thing?
You sound so upset about it.
I've wanted to talk about this for a long time.
Now I'm on the platform.
No. I feel, well, obviously HMV has been... Yeah. But I thought HMV was gone. But then I was in Bath the other week and they're still there. But I feel like HMV... I feel like there was a time where you needed to go and buy CD. Well, there was a time. I don't feel like there was a time where to get your music, you had to go and physically buy the CD, and I think that was quite cool.
You are definitely a HMV kind of guy. Would you say you are?
Nah.
No, I wouldn't say.
LimeWire.
No?
Yeah.
LimeWire.
Yeah.
I remember I bought my first album was a Red Hot Chili Peppers album, but it wasn't a good one.
Ooh.
Was it not?
I thought it was going to be the Californication one, but it wasn't. It was like Stadium Arcadium.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like any of the songs.
No, nah.
And so now when people say, what was the first album you bought? It just brings back bad memories of wasting a tenner.
Yeah. Well, I've got two stories. Ooh. 2 stories of that. Yeah. So, first CD, I went to buy same Woolworths that I'd sold the Bionicle from.
They let you back in, did they?
Back in. Oh yeah, so actually the moral of the story is my mum ended up buying me the Bionicle because she was just so I won. So there we go. So,
stealing pays.
Yeah, this is it. If you're trying to teach me a lesson, I got the Bionicle, and I wasn't getting it before I stole it. So there we go. But no, I went in there. There's a song. Can we do the whole Jamie? Get that clip up. There's a song called Soul Soul Nugget by M&S. Presents the Girl Next Door. It's SALSOUL. There we go. If you want it, song by the Girl Next Door. So it's M&S presents the Girl Next Door.
Are we going to get sound? Where's the sound going to come through? Probably through the laptop.
Through the laptop. Oh yeah, you guys aren't. I'm going to know.
If you put your ear to that, I think you can hear it.
Here we go. We got. Oh, here we go. We've got TV speaker coming out.
Oh, nice, Joss. This is
great.
very technical. We need to get ad blocker though.
So skip through a little bit. Oh no, in fact, here we go. Do you remember this song? Yeah, right. Tune, so this was by M&S presents the Girl Next Door, right?
Marks and Spencer's.
Well, it's not Marks and Spencer's, but I went into Woolworths. Like first time, like my brother's always bought CDs. I'm like, I'm going to go and buy myself a CD. I've heard this on I think it was GWR back then. I was like, I want to go buy this CD. And I go up to the guy, and I'm like, can you help me? I'm like, trying to find CDs. He's like, yeah, what are you looking for? And I was like, that song by M&S. And he's like, good one. Because I'm in Woolworths, and I'm asking for a CD by M&S. And I'm like, no, really, it's on the radio at the moment. He's like, yeah, have a good day. And I just leaves it. I'm like, probably like 8 or 9 at this point. And I'm like, great, thanks, man. So I didn't get the CD. So I never got it. Never got that CD. Never got it, but on a similar vibe to you getting the wrong album, I was like desperate. Remember that S Club 7 album that was wild? Again, I think I was probably about 7 again. There was a lot going on in my life.
You're very into pop then as a kid.
I was very into pop, very into Lego. Like it was going on.
And stealing.
The
perfect combo.
And launching apples at people on mopeds. But yeah, like my parents, I really wanted S Club 7's album for Christmas. And I'm like, get down to my presents, and there is the CD-shaped present. And I'm like,
come on.
Here we go. Let's go, Rachel Stevens. And I open it up, and what is it? Steps.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
They've gone the wrong way there.
I was livid. I put it on, I was like, Steps. I was like, I don't want to listen to any of this. I was like,
did you say that? Oh my god!
I gave it a go, and I was like, "This is disgusting. This is disgusting." So you've got it all wrong. And I think I went out and bought it. That was it. After I was like,
quite an independent kid then.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Did you return the Steps CD, or did your mum keep it?
No, I think I kept it. But never played it. Just kept it there as like a reminder to my mum, like, don't don't get me the wrong CD again.
Do you remember that time you ruined Christmas for me, mate?
It's so funny because I was like so devastated at the time. I don't think it was that brutal.
I love that vine of the kid who gets an avocado for Christmas. He's like, avocado! Thanks!
Yeah, no, steps, like, there was no hiding that. I was like, this is the polar opposite of what I wanted now. This isn't even just slightly off. Like, oh, yeah, cool, it's, I don't know, some other group that I like. It's like, this is a group that I really don't like. And it was almost like expecting her to bring out this S Club 7 CD, like, way! And it was like, oh, no, I just thought you wanted steps. I'm like, cheers, Mum, thanks.
Some parents. I think my first CD...
Some parents.
I think my first CD was actually Peter Andre, Mysterious Girl.
Oh, my God.
Was it?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me with you.
That, and then I remember we went on holiday and we were in Gatwick Airport, and I had a one of those portable CD players.
Yeah.
And I convinced my parents that I needed the Eminem Curtain Close CD album.
Really?
With the red curtains.
Yeah.
Put that in the CD. I was kind of taken back by how much swearing was in it, and I think so. My parents, and I think they returned it in the same airport after like 15 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was so bad.
Did they hear it?
Yeah, because they were like, "Oh yes, have a little listen then."
Have a little listen then. Oh my god.
Yeah, the first few tracks are quite beefy, and I've not listened to it since. Peter Andre though, legend.
Peter Andre is a legend.
Yeah, he's such a great body as well.
Yeah, I think
Talking
he's still
of great
got
bodies,
body.
how about Ronaldo?
Yeah, I think it's very exciting, isn't it?
Manchester United.
Almost Man City.
Oh,
Were rumours of Spurs at one point, but
So that's from Spurs fans, though, wasn't it?
yeah, no, there were no rumours of Spurs.
Right. Are you a Spurs fan?
I'm a Spurs fan.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it never happened, did it? But hey, whatever.
He couldn't have gone City, though, really, could he?
No, of course not. I don't know that was ever on.
Well, I guess they had the money for it, didn't they? But then again,
Of course, they have the money for everyone. Yeah, could buy us if they wanted.
speaking of football,
Yeah.
4-3-3.
Yes. Oh, we're actually going to talk about this
your,
stuff.
your career,
Yeah, this stuff. It's cool. Man, yeah, that was such a weird one.
How did it present itself? The opportunity.
So, literally, I knew of 4-3-3, like, as a football fan. Like, I'd say I'm like a fairly casual football fan. I'm not like someone that, gets really into like the punditry or anything, like the technicalities of the game. I just really enjoy watching football. And like, I knew of 4-3-3 because they're massive.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine saw that they were looking for a new host. And I was like, I don't know, because of all of this, like, I'm a very like casual football fan. I don't know that that's me, because if they want me like, hosting things where I'm getting like, analysing games and stuff, I'm probably not that guy. And then I looked at the whole kind of application criteria, and it was like, it's just saying, we want to bring the fun, entertaining side to football. And I was like, maybe this is me. But like, they have like 41 million followers now, over 41 million, and it's like growing ridiculously. Like, when I think it was 37 million when I was sent the thing to apply, and that's not that long ago. Like, it's grown that much in that small amount of time. And I was looking through it, and again, like, it still didn't really feel like, I was like, okay, it's more my bag, but I'm like, they've got millions of followers. Like, the amount of people that are going to go for this, that are like real die-hard foot, like, I'm probably not going to get it. But I've got everything to apply. Like, it wanted like a bit of a demo of you presenting and stuff. And I was like, cool, okay, like, I can just smash it together. I'll send it in, like, it's all good. Did it, and then had an email saying I've made like the final 8. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know how many people have like, gone for this, but
8.
final 8. Yeah, literally. I guess we'll take you through, like, and yeah, then they wanted us to do something like a video to the fans and just saying about who we are and stuff. And I was like, cool. Again, like, I'm not going to pretend I'm like some football like genius. Like, I'm just, again, going to convey, like, that I just love watching football. Like, I really enjoy football. So I went down to like local sports bar that we have in Devizes, and like got James and Trish who run the bar like in the video, and I was like, voiced it over afterwards. I was like, this is James and Trish, and then cut to a shot of them like just waving at the bar and stuff. Just like fun stuff where I was just like, cool, like, this is who I am, and if it doesn't work, then at least I know, like, I applied with kind of like, you know, it was real. I wasn't
Authentic, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, because I was like, I could try and do something else, but then actually it's not really me, and it, you know, it's never going to work. If I end up getting the job based on a video I managed to put together that wasn't me, then when they want me to do more, it's not going to work out. And then I got an email saying, yeah, you've made Final Four. And I was like, oh my God, okay, cool. And they were like, all right, we want you to do, it was the Europa League final. They were like, we want you to do like a takeover from home of it and stuff. And just did the takeover. And again, like once again, I was like, don't really know what they want from this takeover, so I'm just going to take my own approach to it. And got a mate over and we did some like challenges. We got some drinks in, like went to, it was Man United versus Villarreal, and like went to the supermarket. We pulled teams out of a hat. I was getting English beer because I was Man United. My mate was getting Spanish beer because he was Villarreal, like, you know, and it was just stuff like that. And then
Just fun.
just tried to make it fun
Yeah.
because I was just like, again, this is what it's like for me as a football fan. It's that side of things. And then like Nico, who was over, like shouts to Nico, because he was the one who'd sent me the job in the first place. So he was buzzing because he was like, oh my God, like, I've sent you this and you're into the Final Four. And he like bought some, in fact, no, I think I was I Villarreal? Yeah, I was Villarreal, so I'd got some nice beer. He'd ended up getting some like Carling and stuff, and then he got himself a sausage and mash ready meal, puts it in the oven, and we got it out, and we'd had the oven up too high, and it was black. But he was like, "Oh man, like my food's like ruined," but it just like made for the best content. Because it was so funny. Because at half time we're going to go get our food out of the oven, and his is black, and he's like trying to pull it apart, and the guys loved it. The 433 guys thought it was hilarious, and it was like. It just worked out really well. And then they came back and they like, had a call, and they were just like, yeah, we want you to do stuff.
Were you surprised then that you...
Kind of, because I was like, surely, like, not. Like, like I say, I mean, I've said it 1,000 times, but it just felt like, I'd never seen myself working in football, because I think you just think, oh, like, you know,
You got to be mad about football.
Because like obviously doing skate commentary and stuff, I know how much I need to know, and how much me skating for the past 16 years or whatever contributes to me commentating on skating. And you can hear when people that don't know what they're talking about commentate on skating, it's you can hear it in a heartbeat. And I'm like, you know, for me as a football fan, I've never played football to a high level. Like I take football out when I skate. Actually, I like have a kickabout at the end of basically every skate, which is always fun. But I'm like, haven't played for a team since I was about 7 and stealing Lego. Like, you know, I guess I just never saw it as something that was going to be on the horizon in my career.
Yeah.
Were they all? They weren't all British presenters, were they? Were they?
No, it's all over the world,
around
man.
Europe as well. So like, were you the only guy from the UK who applied for that? Or in
I
the
don't
final
know.
four,
I wasn't. I was the only, because there was another guy from the UK in the final 8. But yeah, final 4. I was the only British guy.
And do you think down to the stuff you've done in the past has helped you get this position now that you're in with them?
100%, man. 100%. I think it's even like often it's like really, it can be kind of like almost subconscious. Like it's not like I've like learnt this. Like tick tick tick. Yeah. It's like the other week I was out in Estonia doing some TV broadcasting, and with COVID, it's the first time I've been doing like BBC radio like throughout the pandemic. That's been fine, but obviously events and stuff where I was doing TV stuff, that had all stopped. So for like 18 months, I hadn't really done anything TV wise, and I did a broadcast for Red Bull, which was like I was thrown fully in at the deep end, which is great. Like sometimes you just got to do this stuff, man. Like, you know, there's so few opportunities that come up. Someone says, I'm going to give you this opportunity, you've got to take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, guy I knew who was working for Red Bull, looking after their TV stuff. He was like, there's a sports broadcast. We want you to be the main host of it.
Wow.
And this is before I'd done much with BBC Radio Wiltshire. And so didn't have a huge amount of live experience. I'd done a lot of pre-recorded stuff, but I'd never had like a producer in my ear before. And it was like a bit of a baptism of fire. And like, just in rehearsals, it was like first rehearsals, to be fair, like didn't go that well. And I was kind of just dropping the ball a little bit. And I was getting frustrated with myself because I was like, I know I can do this. Mm-hmm. And did manage to just pull it together, because it was like sink or swim. It's like, if you don't pull this off, like this broadcast isn't happening. And then we did the broadcast, and it was like, there are a few tech issues, but like got through it, like done. But that was kind of like, I guess, a slightly more like stressful experience, like I say, a bit of a baptism of fire. And then I was kind of nervous because I was like, I haven't done any TV stuff, and it was like a few weeks ago out in Estonia.
Yeah,
it was like, we want you to be main host of skate and BMX, so it's 2-hour broadcasts. And it was quite a lot. Like, they do this whole like pre-show thing, and like, I guess you don't think about it when you watch like football and stuff on TV, but as the host, like, you are throwing to interviews left, right and centre, and it's like you're having to like maintain conversation, but you've got producer in your ear being like, okay, cool, we've got this interview ready, or the interview we're expecting, actually maybe that's not ready, so we need you to fill for another bit, like, and then it's like, okay, cue this VT, so it's going out into the city with one of the hosts or whatever. You have all this stuff going on, there's all these moving parts. Like, when you do a show like that, it flies. But I was slightly nervous coming into that because I was like, I know last time I did this, like, the rehearsals weren't great, and it was like, flying by the seat of my pants a little bit, and then got into rehearsals this time, and it was just like bang, start to finish, done. And it was like, you just, long story short, I think it's just through having done loads of live radio, through especially the pandemic, like picking up being on air like 12 hours a week, and just, not that there's a producer constantly in my ear, but there might be little things where it's like you're in an interview and it's like, okay, like, need to wrap this up or whatever, or, can you ask this? Can you take this in a slightly different direction? And it's just when you're just focusing on that stuff, and you're also focusing on like timing as well. So you might be chatting to someone and you're like, okay, I know I've got like a minute and a half left before I need to wrap this up, kind of thing.
It's a lot to project manage real time, isn't it?
Man, 100%.
Yeah.
But it just becomes innate. But I think it's, like I say, it's like, it's not like you're ticking that stuff off. But I think just when you've got experience of being on air and how to juggle things. So the other night, for example, like, I was mid-link, and it's stuff you don't, as a listener, necessarily hear, but I realised we had the wrong bit of audio cued in a show. So we had, and this was my fault, but we had like a song where it's a feature we do on BBC Introducing, where like you're a showcase artist, and we mix a song so it has a bit of audio of the artist like talking up the tune, and then it'll have the instrumental underneath, and then the song will drop, like the vocals will drop at the end, and it goes into the song. But what I'd managed to accidentally load was just the song. And I was like about to be saying, oh yeah, cool, this person's going to be talking about like this song, like, and throw into that bit of audio, realised we just had the song in, but I was coming out of a song and about to speak, and I realised with like 5 seconds to go on the song. So I've got my bullet points in front of me. So I come out of that song, fire the bed, and then I'm having to go to this computer over here, and whilst I'm talking, drag the right audio in. But I've also got bullet points in front of me because I've like, it was a show menu. So we're saying, okay, we've got like our spotlight artist, we've got our introducing mix, and you're bigging up each thing to like essentially sell to the person listening, like, this is what's coming up, this is why you should stick with us for the show. And so I'm having to keep glancing back over, but whilst I'm like typing in as quietly as possible, dragging it into the running order, and then having to tab down to get to that audio on the screen. It's just stuff like that, man. Like, and I said to like Rue, who produces my show, she was doing introducing this week, and I said, said to her after, I was like, because she hadn't even realised anything was happening, and I was like, but that's good, because it's like, once upon a time, I would have, like, if that was my first or second show or whatever, I'd have just been like, okay, and it would have sounded terrible, but it was like just kind of managing to go, okay, I kind of know what I need to do at this moment in time to get that to work, and I've just got to, like, you're just thinking, you just get so used to juggling things in your mind, and it's like when a producer's talking to you in your ear in a broadcast, at first that's weird as hell, but then it was like, going to that broadcast this time, it was like the live broadcast, there was a point, like, we were chatting away, and the producer's going in my ear, cool, we've got the interview ready, and I'm almost about to go to it, and she's like, interview's not there.
No way.
And so I'm like, cool, ask another question, and it's like, I don't know if we're gonna have the interview, so we might have to go to this VT, and then it was like, okay, we've got someone else in for the interview, go to the interview. And it's like, that's what's going on in your mind the whole time.
Are you given like a list of questions? So when you're interviewing this person, you're asking them questions in your head. Are you going from a sheet, or are you going in your head?
No, so generally, because you'll know what VTs are there. So like VTs, like, basically just inserts of pre-recorded stuff. And you'll know what that kind of stuff is, and you almost want to try and segue into that a little bit. So like, we were in Tallinn, and say you've got like a bit of, a VT of Tallinn coming up, where you've got some of the riders out there, and you might want to ask some questions that maybe lead into that, like, you know, saying, okay, it's not just the contest, it's like, you know, Tallinn's an amazing place, like, what is it you love about Tallinn or whatever, like, you know, maybe talk to us about being in Tallinn and stuff like that. You kind of have that conversation. But yeah, like generally it's quite loose. So like the person that's with me, or was with me at that point, is like, yeah, just the guy who was going to be doing skate commentary with me. So yeah, he knows what he's doing, and it's basically like someone like that. You ask a question, and you sometimes do interviews with Joe Public, and it can be a little bit harder because they haven't necessarily done stuff before, and you might be like, just tell us about Tallinn. I really like it.
It's great.
I really like Tallinn.
It's like,
and you're like, right, okay. What is it that you like? Like trying to, but you throw to someone like that, and it's like, tell us a little bit about Tallinn. Oh, I love coming to Tallinn. Been here for so many years. Like, it's the atmosphere, it's the people. And that's a really good chance then for you to just get cues from your producer in your ear, because that's, you know, a good producer. Obviously, I mean, it's kind of basics. It's basics, but it's like, you know, sometimes a producer will have to talk to you when you're talking, but often will, like, you know, try and wait until someone else is chatting. But sometimes you'll be talking and they'll like might know that you're about to go to another question. They're like, we need to go to this. And it's like, so you're like getting ready and you're like, and we're going to go to this now. It's like, yeah, it can be a bit like that.
Have you found it's made you really good at like appearing to the missus or friends that you're listening when you're in fact not?
No, seem to never get better at that. Never seems to work. Like Rosie does it to me all the time though. Like she'll just like, I'll be talking to her and she just starts staring into the distance, and I'm like, oh my god, like,
I've lost it.
Great. We went for a drink the other night and I was talking about something. I got like quite passionately into chatting about something, and it's so funny, man. I must have sounded like I was almost about to wrap up. And then I went on to another thing, and she was sat there with her drink, and she went,
savage.
And I was like, are you kidding? And then she tried to pretend she was like dancing to the music, and I was like, nah. I was like, there's no coming back from that. I was like, cool, I'll go to the loo.
So with 433, do you have full access to their Instagram now, or is it all
No.
How does that work?
Yeah, so we 433 are based in Amsterdam, so I'm the only guy that's based here in the UK, I think. But yeah, I send the stuff to them. I send the content to them rather than posting
WhatsApp
it directly
or
myself. Telegram, because it doesn't compress the quality.
Yeah.
So WhatsApp, you send stuff in it, crushes it right down. But Telegram sends in full res, which is really cool.
That is pretty cool. And when you were so you went to the Euros final. You went to quite a few games at Wembley, right?
Yeah. So I was the guy that was at Wembley,
and you were, you know, filming people in the crowds and stuff like that. Were you recording quite a few takes before you sent it over, or were you quite time pressured where you were like, get it done, send it? You know.
So well, no, you kind of do. It is quite quick fire, and like some stuff you might try and get a few takes, but other stuff you're literally like you're running around trying to capture like natural moments, and you know, it's trying to set up as little as possible. So sometimes you're doing like links, and you've got to say like, you know, do the segues of like, right, heading in from outside into the stadium, and you might do like a little link about the stadium or something like that, and that you might give a few cracks at, but generally it's fairly quick fire, because it's, you know, you might see some fans are like, you know, getting well into a chant or whatever, and you can't go over and be like, could you just start that again? Like you've just got to run and like try and capture that moment. So yeah, the amount of steps I was putting in, just walking up and down around like Wembley, just during the day, just literally just popping up in places I'd already been, but just constantly on like a loop, just looking for things, looking for people. You might see some fans that are dressed up looking kind of funny or whatever, or, you know, you've seen loads of England fans but you haven't seen any Denmark fans, and all of a sudden you see like a Danish family and you're like, I need to grab you now, because like, you know, we've got you,
get in the van.
Yeah, exactly.
Is everyone willing to be filmed as well? Was there anyone who's
generally no, like some people are like, just, you know, no one unfriendly, but some people just, it's just not really my thing or whatever. And there were people that knew 433 and they're like, oh, no way. And they're like, I'm a bit nervous, I'm sorry, like I don't. And you'd be like, sure.
It's a big
like,
following.
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny, man. Like there was such a mixture of people that didn't like 4-3-3 is massive in Europe, you know, like Bundesliga, La Liga, and stuff like that, and is big in the Premier League. But I think it's something that's definitely growing, and so it's a really exciting time to be on board, to be able to be here and do more stuff with the Premier League. But yeah, it's funny. Some people you walk up to and be like, "I'm filming 4-3-3." They're like, "No, I don't know, but I'll do something," and it's like, you know, you're about to appear to like 40 million people, like
the population of England.
Literally, like, this is a big audience. Like, whatever, I don't know them, but go on. And it's like, but other people, you'd go and film them, and they'd be like, no way, like, oh my god, do it, like, you know. And like, there was a guy who we filmed his group because they'd been being quite rowdy and stuff for the final. And we filmed his group being like, leaning into the camera. He came over and said, sorry, did you say you were filming 4? I was like, 4-3-3. And he's like, no. He was like, you are. He's like going crazy. And they had like beers with them. And he was like, you need to take this beer. And I was like, I'm working. He's like, you need to take this beer. And he was like, I was like trying to be like, I can't. And he was like, I had a rucksack on and it had like the side pockets. And he was just put a beer in each side. And I was like, brilliant. Okay, great. And he's like, oh man, no, least I can do. I'm like, I can't drink them, man. But like, that's fine. Like, whatever. So no, just having to leave and like just left them somewhere for someone to.
Didn't someone win a ticket as well? Did you? Wasn't there a time where it was like $5 million you can get a ticket? How did that work out?
Yeah, so Demi, who's one of the founders of 4-3-3, like he's ex-professional footballer and stuff, and he basically had tickets to some of the games. So 4-3-3, where I guess for like Euros when everything was being planned. I mean, it still is kind of tight with COVID, but I guess it's eased a little bit. But like, you know, during the Euros, it was literally they were upping capacity and stuff from one game to the next. It was kind of changing all the COVID rules. So you had to be an official media partner to basically get a media pass for the games, where like a lot of games you could say, okay, we've got this following, we're going to go and do this or whatever, and you know, in normal times that's fine, but for the Euros obviously it's in such high demand anyway, and then it was like, you're not an official media partner, so we can't give you anything. So it was from one game to the next, like trying to basically get tickets, like beg, borrow and steal for tickets. But it was crazy. They were saying like that even the players trying to get tickets for like friends and family. They had like Mason Mount, Chelsea player, messaging 4-3-3 saying, "Can you get me tickets? Is there any way you can get any spare tickets?" And 4-3-3 are like, it's funny because we'd probably ask you the same, like, you know, just to see if we can get one of our hosts in. So a couple of games where, like, because we chatted about it, because you were saying about coming up at one point. But yeah, I was literally, I was going and doing all the coverage outside, and then I'd watch everyone that had managed to get tickets in the ballot walk in, and I'd be like, right, I'm off to a pub to capture the atmosphere there. And luckily there's a really good pub just up the road in Wembley, so that was fine. But I'd had to speak to the pub because they were so full, because there were so many people going there and doing that. They wanted to soak up the atmosphere but didn't have tickets, so they'd just go to the pub. So I had to speak to the pub because they bit max capacity long before I was done at Wembley. And they were basically cool with just, they'd have a list of people that basically a guest list that I'd go up to security and say, oh yeah, James working with 4-3-3, and we'd just shout them out and give them some love. But there'd be people outside, like, because they'd be operating one in, one out, but it's a football match, so people that are there are staying for the duration. They're not leaving beforehand, so there was just people outside just trying to see if they could get in. And yeah, it was mental. So even the pub was like, heaving. So
were you there for the German game in Wembley?
Yes.
What
no, so not at Wembley. So I was at Wembley, but I'd had to go to the pub for that one.
What was the energy like in the street when they won 2-0? Was it just...
It was
insane.
Unreal.
Yeah, I felt it through the TV, it felt like.
Yeah, so the games I got to go into were the Denmark and the...
final.
Yeah, final with Italy. So those were the two games I got tickets to. So yeah, sorry, the story about Demi, basically he had tickets personally, but he was trying to sell them because it was when... So it was like the biggest home advantage ever, because like England playing at Wembley, and it was at a point where like fans from other countries couldn't fly in. Yeah. So Demi would have been there, and he basically was trying to sell them, and then 30 minutes before the game, pretty much, just texts me, and it's just like, "You haven't got tickets, have you?" And I was like, "No, this is the Denmark game," and he's like, "I've got two. They're really good tickets. I haven't been able to sell them," and he was saying they were a lot of
thousands.
Yeah, they were quite a lot.
Tens of thousands?
No, not tens of thousands, not tens of thousands.
But still,
but definitely thousands.
A second-hand Toyota Igo price.
Yeah,
okay,
easy.
Cool.
Yeah, and he was just like, okay, you need to download the app and stuff, and then he was like, what's your email address? And I just went on the app, put in my email address, and it was just like, boom, 2 tickets.
Wow.
And it was like, dude, like best seats in the house. He was like, have a great time. They're genuinely the best seats. But it was like they, he said, "Oh, see if you can kind of give them away, give the other seat away." But we were so close to the game at that point. And it was like by the time it went live on 433's account saying like, you know, if you can find me, you can get the tickets. I was 15 minutes basically from needing to enter the stadium because they had entry times. I guess for COVID, they don't want everyone going in all at the same time, and for crowd management, I guess. But yeah, it was like, I don't think anyone's gonna find me, sadly, because at this point, like, I'm at the stadium and like I'm trying to go through the gates, and it's like someone's gonna have to really get lucky.
Who had the second ticket then in the end?
No one.
Oh,
yeah. That was the crazy thing. Wow. That was the crazy thing. Yeah. So I actually tried calling a friend. Because I was like, man, I don't think anyone's going to find me. He's like North London kind of way, and even he was prepared to drop everything at that moment in time to come over, and it was like even he couldn't make it. It was that tight. He was just like to get the ticket from me and get in for the entry time. He was like, oh man, there's no way.
Were you not tempted just to find a random stranger and say, I've got a ticket, do you want to come?
Well, yeah, but dude, like at that point, there's, I kid you not, like tens and tens of thousands of people out there, and you have no idea who's got a ticket and who's not.
Yeah.
And I need to get into the stadium.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit like, if we'd found out earlier on, we could have definitely done something. Because there were people coming up and being like, 433 and stuff. And like, you know, there were some kids that had been like finding me each game. Hadn't had tickets, but they were at Wembley every time. And they kept finding me, giving me like ridiculous score predictions. I was like, oh man, it would have been so good. I'd seen them earlier. It would have sucked because obviously only one of them would have been able to make it. And also potentially look a bit weird taking like an 11-year-old that isn't my son to a game.
Yeah.
But I just thought, oh man, it would have been so cool for those kids.
To gift that, yeah.
Yeah, but then it would have been well harsh because it's like, which one do you give it to? But like in my mind, I was like,
fight.
I was like, that would have been so cool to have gone, this dude who's like definitely not going to any of the games, come into the semi-finals. Like, yeah, let's go.
What was it like being there for the final?
Mental. So like our tickets for the Denmark game, they were really good. They were above kind of like where the subs sit. It was like we were just behind that. So yeah, we were in like literally middle of the stadium, and I was like, it's not going to get much better than this. Found out we had tickets for the finals, and I was like they're probably going to be anywhere. Like Just Eat had hooked them up because they were sponsoring. I think 433 have done stuff with Just Eat maybe, so they managed to like really kindly like gave us hotel, gave us seats and stuff.
Wow. Awesome.
And I was like, expecting that I'd just be anywhere in the stadium, but it's like, anywhere in the stadium's fine. Like I'm in the stadium, you know? And then I picked up the tickets in the morning and it said on it, like row 3. And I was like row 3?
That sounds close.
That sounds close. But I was like, row 3, that could be in a section further up. So it's like row 3 at the back or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I jumped on Google and I was just like a seating plan of Wembley Stadium. And I was like, no way, dude. Like it was halfway line, row 3. Like it was the middle of the pitch. It was like, yeah, perfect. We were the front row.
So you're like above the tunnel where they come out almost?
No, so the other side. So it was the opposite side.
Well.
It was the opposite side of that. So we weren't above anything. We were pitch side basically, man. And I was just like much love to Just Eat. I couldn't believe it, man. It's so funny. It's so funny. Like, yeah, they were just warming up and I'm like, cool, there's Harry Kane like 10 metres away.
You can literally see
because I think I sent you pictures, right? And
yeah.
it was pitch level, man. It was pitch level. It was unreal. But yeah, so yeah, went and did that. That was cool. And then got home and literally the morning after pinged. It was like, done. You've got to isolate for 10 days. So didn't have COVID, but I was like, yeah.
After the Italy game?
Yeah, literally after the Italy game.
What was it like in Wembley post-game after we'd lost?
It wasn't. I didn't see anything that was that bad. Mm-hmm. Obviously, everyone was pretty gutted. I'm kind of glad I didn't see some of the stuff that was like reported in the news.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, man. It's like.
So did you just get out of there and went home?
Pretty much left. Yeah, like it was just all I saw was basically just fans, obviously a bit like downbeaten, like you know, but. Yeah, I didn't see it. I personally didn't see any like fights breaking out or anything like that. But yeah, and so there's a station that's literally right by Wembley, And I tried heading down there, and the queues to get in there were mental. And I was just like with COVID and everything, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to find another tube station. So I actually walked. I walked quite a way as well to another station. And luckily, I didn't really see anything, like, you know, just fans that were. It was like raining as well. It was like, was it pathetic fallacy or whatever? Is that what it's called? It's like, fans leaving and it's like raining and you're just getting soaked, and it was just like, we've lost.
You can't get home. It's busy.
Yeah, literally, I'm having to walk like 30 minutes to another station in Wembley or whatever. But yeah, no, it's a shame, man, the stuff that did get reported. But yeah, I was kind of, I
was glad you didn't see it, because I remember that for me was like worse than the actual losing. Seeing everything after.
But like, I guess without kind of getting too deep into it, for me it was kind of like it sparked a massive conversation, right, around the 3 guys that missed penalties, like the abuse that they received. I was like, do you know what? Like, for as long as they win, it's, you know, they're going to be heroes. And it's like, it's only when they lose that this stuff comes out. And it's like, actually, if this stuff came out on a massive like stage like that, it had all the attention in the world, right? So, you know, all the media is looking at this, and this has come to light that, you know, racism is an issue. And I'm kind of like, do you know what? If that has sparked a massive conversation, has sparked maybe more funding into anti-racism in football and stuff like that, if that is what the result of us losing at the Euro finals is,
there's a win there.
It's almost more important. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously we'd love to win a tournament, but actually it's like the you know, awareness of racism and like tackling racism, like, it's more important than any game of football. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if that is the legacy that comes out of this, obviously, it's so gutted for, like, you know, Marcus, like Sancho and Saka that received that abuse. And I'm sure, like, we saw fans as well that were, you know, concerned about getting home and had issues getting home and everything. And it's like, man, that sucks so much. And it's like, if the legacy is that is addressed, like, that's more important than winning any game of football. It
was also the thing that disappointed me so much was the fact that I feel like the Euros and the World Cup are the only time really you get to be prideful and proud to wave the England flag and not look like an EDL member. You know, it's the only time you get to actually wave the flag about and be proud to be British.
Yeah.
And this whole leading up and how professional the players were and beating Germany 2-0 at home, it was like, man, I am proud to be English. And then the final happens, and then the retaliation of that, and it's just like, all that pride just got ripped from under my feet, and it's like, I can't be proud to be English when this is how people react to it, and this is the movement behind the game. That was a sad thing. But then the repercussions on that, and like the mural they put of Rashford that got graffitied on, but they obviously fixed it the next day. And then the whole backlash of it was awesome to see, like you said. But yeah, it was just a bit like, how can we be on the world stage and be that professional for so long and be that good, and then on the last leg it just all came crumbling down.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's because something more important needs to happen.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think, like I say, if the legacy is that, you know, this is now addressed and more funding is put into this. I mean, it's like, in a way, it's the stuff I've done, like, you know, mental health work with Calm and stuff, you know. And when I first started out with Calm, mental health in action sports, it wasn't really a discussion. Like, it wasn't being discussed that much, and there wasn't much content around it. And I started doing stuff, and people were like, oh, this is really good. Like, this is something that needs to be discussed more. It is something that's discussed all the time now, you know. And it's like, it's through people just doing things that are, I guess, kind of fairly high profile. And it's like, okay, yeah, that instance sucked, but like I say, if the legacy is that because it was so high profile, people went, this needs to stop. Like, more needs to be done, and more is being done. Like, that's you know, that's a good legacy to have.
Would you?
So that hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Do you think social media companies should make it so you have to upload an ID to your account to validate it? Do you think that's a good answer or not?
I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's tough, because there's the whole thing around, like, access to identification and stuff as well, because we don't really have any free forms of ID that are, like, accepted. So it was saying around, like, just people in the UK that, you know, don't have a passport, don't have a driving license and stuff, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I think something needs to be done, because people can't hide behind accounts anymore. Like, you know, it just...
Especially
this
be
long.
Able to happen. It's been going on for so long. Like, you have to be held accountable somehow.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's the amount of, like, hate comments that you see, or even just not even like hate comments, but just like when someone posts almost like a trolley kind of comment that is obviously they don't want to go on record with it, and you see it's a burner account. It's 100% a burner. Like, doesn't have a profile picture. It's just like gibberish for the Insta handle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a super harsh, brutal comment or whatever on someone's account.
'Cause they don't want the backlash, yeah.
Well, yeah. It's like not man enough to say it from their own account, but they can say it from a burner account. And it's like, that would remove that.
Yeah.
That would absolutely remove that overnight. If it was like, cool, before you can carry on using your account, you need to provide your ID.
I don't know if there's another solution.
I agree.
Aside from that.
I agree.
Unfortunately. And it's like, I think that's the only way we can really move forward.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people can just get away with it. Like, we've all been like 12 or 13 and said something mean online at some point, and it's like, you're behind so many layers of protection. Like,
for sure.
Like, that's where the term keyboard warrior comes from, because they act so tough online, but no one can get to you.
Yeah, that's it. And I think as well, like, a lot of people aren't in that position where they're in the limelight and have just random people commenting on their stuff.
Yeah.
So don't know how that feels. And especially when it's someone that is faceless, that's almost like, I guess it's so
mystery,
much worse.
isn't
It's
it?
so much worse because it's not even like, I know who's written this. It's like, oh man, some just completely anonymous person has just come and just like slated my work
And
or
hates
whatever.
me.
Yeah, and it's I guess that's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. I think at least if you had an opinion and you voiced a brutal opinion, but it's from your account, it's like, okay, well, like, I can see you, like, whatever, we can disagree, but cool. At least it's like it's a person that isn't. I think people would think twice. People would think twice before what they, would maybe voice their opinion in a slightly different way. If they didn't, like, people are entitled to not like your work, that's how it is. But it's like, I just think when someone goes, oh, I've got a burner account, I can just absolutely rinse this and just type in stuff that, like, don't even realise what the consequences of those words are. If it was their own account and there were repercussions, if they wanted to voice their opinion, yeah, fine, whatever. But it's like, they probably think a little bit more about the language they use, or like the kind of things, like, like the personal things they might say at that point, And I kind of agree. I think the pros probably outweigh the cons on that one.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be taken up by Facebook or Instagram. I think it's going to be something that there'll be a new social media account that requires it, that then becomes the new one, and it just becomes normal. Because, I mean, look at the spread of misinformation currently. It just takes one news article that Facebook's going to take your passport and copy your identity, and it's like, look, they've already got enough information on you as is. They could forge a document of you pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scary though.
Mad.
Did you experience much like anti-vax stuff or anything like that during COVID? Did you?
Not really, man.
No.
Like, I see it online, and I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like, I personally went and got vaccinated, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, have your own opinion. Like, that's we live in a free society. That's the whole thing, isn't it? It's like,
because you got yours 8 weeks apart, right, or sooner?
You're throwing this out there.
Are we not allowed to talk about it?
No, we can talk about it. So I basically I was trying to get my jab less than 8 weeks because I needed to travel.
Yeah.
So they were saying it was really frustrating. It didn't feel like it felt like a bit naughty, but it also didn't feel like I was cheating the system because, like, they had been doing less than 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating because I was phoning, without giving you my life story, I was like phoning the NHS line, and they were saying, oh yeah, you can have your second jab less than 8 weeks. Like, manufacturer says it's 21 days.
Wow.
That you
3 weeks then?
Well, you could have it at 3 weeks. And it was because I was needing to go to Estonia, basically. And at that point we weren't sure if you weren't double vaccinated, like, whether you could go or not. And I was phoning the NHS number, and they were saying, you should just be able to go to a walk-in centre and stuff. And I was having no luck. I'd been to, like, multiple walk-in centres, and they were all saying 8 weeks. And I was like, with the NHS, I'm literally phoning the NHS, and they're saying, and I was like going back and forth with them. And the NHS were even saying, like, go to a walk-in centre. If they don't let you, like, put us on the phone.
No.
And I went to one. I was like, okay, cool. Can I put them on the phone? And the guy was like, it's not going to make a difference. I'm not letting you have it.
Wow.
And I was like, my God, man. So ended up finding there was this Reddit thread called Get Jabbed. I don't know if I should, like, talk about this, but it was like Yeah, there was basically people posting places that were maybe doing less than 8 weeks. And yeah, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but yeah, there was a place in Bristol that someone posted, and I was like, saw it, because I'd kind of resigned myself to the fact that maybe I wasn't going to get to go to Estonia, like, you know.
Which would be a huge loss for the career, right?
Yeah, getting back on live TV, like live TV gigs, you know, obviously I do a lot of radio, but live TV I don't do a huge amount of. So it's like the opportunity to go and do 2 big live TV broadcasts is a big opportunity. And of course, there's stuff that I've missed out on, like live event stuff. So like emceeing skate competitions and stuff. That pay hasn't been there throughout the pandemic. And I'm like, the manufacturer says I can have this jab after 3 weeks, but I might not get to go and earn the money that I would be earning in Estonia, which is a good chunk of money, because you're saying 8 weeks. And it was like, I was trying to plead with them and just be like, look, like I can get notes from the people I'm working for that, you know, I'm not just trying to go on like a lad's holiday.
Help
like,
me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just couldn't get anywhere. I phoned my GP and they were saying, nah. So I kind of just took it into my own hands and just went and did that basically. But yeah, so it was like managed to. I'd seen this Reddit post saying, yeah, cool, and I was like, right. I was like, I'm working at home today. I just shut my laptop. I was like, Rosie, I'm off to Bristol. I was like, I'm gonna go give it a go. And like, man, yeah, like felt like such a fraud, like walking in, like just really quiet, like, you know, like super nervous. And yeah, went in and the woman was like, yeah, cool, like check my card. And I was like, oh, here we go, like, you know. And she was like, yeah, cool, can see you had the Pfizer jab, like perfect. And I was like, oh my God, it's on, like this is it. Nice. And then she did it, and I was like, literally messaged the Simple Session guys in Estonia, like, we're on, like I've got my second jab, we're good. Because it was, my second jab was going to be a week before I went, but we needed 14 days for me to return with that. Yeah, so this is it. So we were super close, but when I'd phoned my GP, again, another reason I kind of didn't feel so bad, which was like, if this is literally like 3 weeks ago, we were giving them to people at like 4 weeks.
Really?
And and that was the thing. I was like, okay, so this hasn't always been 8 weeks. I was just like, you know,
it's just guidelines, I guess. In a way, isn't it?
But it was like, if I had no reason to need it before 8 weeks, I would have waited 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, so it was tough. It was
the hunt for the second jab, mate. That's
I put hours into that, man. Like I put hours and hours. I'd driven to multiple walk-in sites, and I was looking at driving to Stratford at one point, because there was a place where people were just saying, yeah, every day I can get this. Like, you know, people just popping up like, yep, got mine at 5 weeks today and stuff. So I ended up getting mine at like, it was like 5.5, 6 weeks, I think.
Did you have any side effects to Eva Jab?
Second one, yeah.
What did you have?
Second one, I was like, what did I have? I think I just felt rubbish. Like I didn't feel good. It was kind of coldy, I think. I can't really remember. But I remember like not being that well. And I went and ended up doing a PCR test, because I was like, because we were going on holiday with Rosie's family just down to like Dorset.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to make sure. And it wasn't COVID, but I was like, it coincided. It was like a day after I'd got the second jab, I'd started to feel pretty rubbish. But a lot of what I had was like kind of COVID-y symptoms. So I was like, I'm just going to make sure.
Yeah.
I went and got a test. And
I remember I had my first vaccine, and it was 2 days before the England-Germany game.
Yeah.
And I was completely fine, and then, I don't know if you remember that, I went home early at like 3 o'clock. I went home and just suddenly got the flu, felt awful, just went from 100 to 0 like, on the sofa, medicated. Amber was like cooking soup for me, really bad. And then the England game came on, and I was like watching that like half asleep, like shivering. And then we obviously got to the end of the game, and we won 2-1, and I felt right as rain. Literally, like it's almost like the energy from the game had like healed me of what I was going through, and I felt fine. I remember saying to Amber like that they should prescribe that at the doctors, like an England win. And I felt so good, and I remember just thinking that's weird that obviously it can't be that unless it is a positive mental attitude, like you pitch to me all the time, Dan.
More likely, yeah.
I just thought it was so interesting that I literally went from like being so ill to like 90 minutes later feeling good enough to run a marathon.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
England wins. That's what. Yeah.
Against Germany as well. I think that was the pure magic and cherry on top of it.
For sure. Can I just say as well, I bigged up that 12s contain the chocolate and the flake, and this has not gone well.
Is it crumbly?
Oh mate, look! Can you see?
How is the orange twirl?
I'm loving it.
We're going to
I'm
have
a
to get
fan.
the Dyson in, aren't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
Got a Dyson.
Yeah, of course we have got a
Of course
Dyson.
we have got.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm on a Shark.
Who?
Shark.
Shark. You heard of-
I've not heard of a Shark before. No,
Yeah.
it sounds like a budget brand.
Like half the price. Super good.
Super good.
Super good.
Have you got a Shark?
No.
Have you got a Dyson as well?
Yes.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
You guys are such brand whores.
Well, Ben actually used to work at Dyson, so yeah.
Really?
He got me discount. Yeah.
Momentarily.
Forever discount he's got. Yeah.
I worked there for a month. I worked in the call
You
centre.
worked there for a month?
Yeah, it's something
And
like...
you have forever discount?
No,
Yeah.
Dan's trolling on that one. I worked there for a month in the call centre, and then we had a Christmas party, like a Dyson-wide Christmas party at this It was like the Ritz in London, but obviously it wasn't the Ritz.
Fancy.
And I was like 21 and just got... I didn't know anyone that well. I knew the group that I was training with, but I got fucking shit-faced. Shit-faced. Like, absolutely, like, I remember just like...
How drunk? 10 out of 10?
I remember walking to McDonald's after the night, but I don't remember walking back.
What did you eat?
I don't know.
Ah.
McDonald's. And I remember waking up on the hotel bed at like 10 minutes before the coach was going to leave and just projectile vomiting in the bathroom everywhere. Got downstairs, didn't have time for breakfast, got on the coach to go home, and I was literally chundering into a towel on the coach in front of all my colleagues and stuff. I was like, I'm going to throw up. I don't know what to do. My boss just gives me a towel, and I just start vomiting into the towel. And
No way.
yeah, and I get
What a
back,
beautiful segue.
I get back into the office, and then we're working. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm going home. And then I go home, and I just pretty much give my notice over the phone. I'm like, I don't want to go back there. I hated the job,
No way.
but then that was like the cherry on top. Like, I don't want to. It was like a 45-minute
Dude, that's
commute.
such a good exit. That is such a good exit.
What, to
from the
leave
job.
Dyson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, right, got super drunk, threw up on the coach, you never saw me again. Like, that's it. Oh, man, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was a great way to
That's
leave.
so funny.
Great
I've
way to
never
leave.
had anything that good. I got fired once. Well, I got let go.
For what?
Being a terrible waiter. Yeah.
For who?
I won't name business names, but there was a pub.
What genre of food was it?
It was like
An Italian?
No.
Gastro.
No. Yeah, it was gastro. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice stuff. It's like, there's those jobs, right, that you just think, oh, easy jobs. Waiter, nah. I'm sure there's some people that it just plays into their it's their strong suit, but I think it was a good experience for me, like being 18, 19 and taking a waiting job and just realizing, oh my God, I'm not good at this. I just wanted to talk to everyone, man. And I think that was the problem.
So you were too talkative.
You can't be like that, James. You have to be in and out, serve the dish, get and gone,
I won't go into details too much, but yeah, I remember there was an instance where a customer, there was a big table and they were really nice, but they were going to be spending a lot of money. And the customer, there was one woman who said to me, she's like, I'm really sorry, I'm the fussiest eater. She was like, is there any chance you could do me this thing but slightly differently? And I knew we had the things to do that. So I was like, they're a massive table, they're spending hundreds of pounds tonight. And I was like, I'm going to check, of course. This,
fair enough.
This doesn't seem that crazy. They're going to spend loads of money. I feel like at least we can do that.
Let's
And,
accommodate that, yeah.
Yeah, me asking that question didn't go down well.
Just asking.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I won't get into details. But then, yeah, the next shift I came in and all the other people that were working there were silent. And I was like, ain't gonna know what's happening. And then, yeah, the management were like, James, can you come upstairs a minute? And they were like, yeah, can you hand your apron over, please? And I was like, cool. I was like 2-3 months into it, and I'd already when you're doing something, you're like, I'm going to see this through for a little bit because I feel like if I leave now, what a waste of everyone's time. Do you know what I mean? And then they were like, yeah, we're going to let you go. It wasn't like a sacking. It wasn't angry.
It's mutual.
I think they were just like, we know you're not good at this. You're not that good at this.
What did they want to change that was so abrupt and wrong?
So it was it was something like we did a side veg, right? Which was a platter of carrots, peas, stuff like this. And I think it was basically that she really liked green beans, didn't like carrots, didn't like that. But she wanted a side of veg. But I knew we did green beans with another meal. Like if you ordered the meal, the plate came with green beans.
Yeah.
And so I was like, surely we can do that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I was like, surely we can just like do a side veg. Because she was saying, charge me for a side veg, but can I have
green beans?
Just green beans. And I was like, seems like...
that was a problem?
Wow. It was a big problem.
Did the chefs just not like you then or something?
I think, yeah.
Is that what it was?
I think I'd probably already annoyed them just by not being very on it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, when... I've always been like this. I'm sure you guys are the same because, like, there's a reason that you guys have managed to just, like, the business just constantly grows. I want to say as well, that's really cool, man. Like, that.
Thank you.
Because I've seen... When we first did the podcast, it was like you guys were in desk.
In the co-work space, yeah.
The co-work space, like, and I think you guys had the permanent table. I think you were already full-time. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'd recently gone full-time when I did that, when I came on for the first time for the podcast.
It wasn't long, yeah.
But it's just been wicked. Like, seeing you guys grow and, like, just the drive and, like, now we're in this, massive space. It's wicked. It's really cool. But, like, I know you guys are the same in that if you've got a project that you're passionate about, like, you'll put everything into that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you are going to work day and night on that. It is not a case of 9 till 5. It is whatever you need, whatever needs doing, you're going to do it, and you're going to go into it head first. And I think that's always been the same for me. If you give me something I'm not as into, like, I will try my best, but it's hard to find that passion. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was kind of, it was just like 100%. Like, there were times, I'm not saying that isolated incident was why I got let go. I think it was just like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Sure,
But I think it's just stuff where, like, just stuff that, like, needed doing, and I might have just not clocked that it needed, but probably because my brain wasn't 100% engaged because I wasn't 100% into the job. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where if you're, like, into it, you're like, right, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do? Like, and I'm like, clean the cutlery. Yeah. Cool, like, whatever.
Stand still for 4 hours.
Yeah. And, I guess probably wasn't using, like, that much initiative because I just wasn't that hyped on being there. So,
well, in true nature of our podcast, James, through the Window podcast, I believe Dan has a question for you.
Go on.
James, this question is quite a hard one, so please do bear with. I need to know tell me a story about something you've seen through a window. It could be a weird story, it could be a great story, it could be a loving story. But I need to know a little bit more information about a window that you've looked through. Thank you.
The window of life, Dan. No.
Good God.
I don't know. I wanted to come up with something really good. I haven't managed to think of anything. I think, though, right, it's going to be so lame, but, like, travelling.
Yes.
Travelling. Flying to America, okay, plane window, when you're flying over Greenland is incredible. Like, if you're flying and it's the day and you can just see, like, snow, like, it's places where you're like, I don't know if anyone's ever been to that bit there. Like, do you know, I'm flying over it and I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's no roads. I don't know that anyone's ever, like, walked there or what. Like, I might be wrong, but yeah, it just feels like you're just flying over, just like.
Is it quite big from the air?
Yeah. And it's just mental. It's just like you're just flying over, like, snow and I guess mountains and stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that part of the world is pretty cool. And then also, really cool going out to Malmo. So there's a contest that was kind of my first, like, skate contest abroad in Malmo in Sweden. And you fly into Copenhagen and it's wicked. If you live in Malmo or Copenhagen, you go between the two a lot because they have this sea train that probably takes you like 30 minutes. And I think it's something like €10 or whatever. But it's amazing. The train is really famous. And I think it was part of some big TV show, like, a few years back or whatever. But you go over the sea, and it's like, it's not like Eurotunnel where you're like, you're in a tunnel. You are on a bridge, and you can just see either side, and it's just sea. And, like, in the winter when we were going to this contest, because they kind of put this contest at the start of the year so that it didn't clash with any other contest. It's like, if you want to be there, there's nothing else in your calendar because it's like February. And yeah, you'd go over and the sea would be frozen.
Wow.
And it was just mental.
It's like Polar Express vibes, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. And it's like you've paid €10 and it's like you're just on a public train. It was like so clean over there as well, man. Like the trains over there, you're just like, it's pristine. But it's just wicked view, like wicked view. I wanted to have something more funny or cool.
No, I like
for
that.
you,
it's good.
Yeah.
But That is amazing, especially because I was like 16 and it was like I'd been abroad a bunch, like been lucky to have gone abroad loads when I was like a kid, but just like first, already pretty excited. It's like first skate contest abroad and stuff, and yeah, you go on this train and you're just like, whoa, like no way, like the sea is frozen. This is crazy. Which for them over there is probably like, yeah, dude, the sea freezes every year. But it's like
it's called ice.
Yeah, deal with it. But yeah, for me, I guess it was like I'd never seen that before, and that was really cool. So yeah, I
like that. It is pretty funny though. You know, when you do fly, you're on a plane, you're flying over like a mountain range or something. I tend to do that. I look down, I'm like, bloody hell, what would happen if I was to just get dropped? Not the plane was to crash, so don't think about that. But like, if you were to just get dropped in the middle of this place, like,
oh, you do think about that 100%
all the time.
You do think about it. But I like
because
like last time we went to Cali, I was window seat. And obviously it's wicked because you are flying over Greenland for like probably an hour or two. You're really over.
Wow.
I'd say I don't really know, but I might be completely wrong. But you're looking down and you're just like, again, you're like, oh my god. And then every now and then you just see like a road and it's got like one car on, and you're like, where are you going, man? Like, who are you? What is your life story? That you're like, I've been flying for ages. All I've seen is snow and mountains. I haven't seen any houses anywhere. And then all of a sudden there's a little road and I can see a car just driving on it. It's like, I'm like, I want to know what's going on, man.
Yeah,
like,
what's their life?
Yeah. Because there's a cool thing. Like my dad, he flies small planes as like a hobby, not as a job or anything. But he has an app where you can literally, I guess it uses like your GPS and your phone. This is like talking about like the whole Facebook thing, like social media and everything. It's crazy. Like you can get your phone camera out, zoom in on a plane in the sky, and it will find out what that plane is and where it's going.
Wow.
And he can be like, oh yeah, cool, it's this plane. It's like it's flying from Atlanta to London Heathrow or whatever. This is the flight number and stuff. And it's crazy. But it'd be wicked if you could just do that, like out the plane window. Like, who is this dude? Like, get my camera and just zoom in. Like, this is Terry. Reverse. He lives down the road in Greenland. Like, yeah. It's like, yeah, just mental. But yeah, always thought that was cool. Always thought that was cool.
I like that.
But yeah, man, like if you're flying to California, you get some really cool scenery. Because in fairness, yeah, no. So you go over Greenland. I'm trying to think if that was when we flew to New York, but I think it is. When you're going to LA, I think you must do the same. Surely, maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. But I think anyway, you fly, you get snow, and then when you're coming into California, you obviously go over the Nevada desert. So you get snow and then desert. Someone might be listening to this and be like, "You're wrong."
That's not how the world works, James.
But no, because I'm only thinking because we went to New York. Oh man, this is a story, right? This is a story. Yeah, going to New York we went as the pandemic blew up. Yeah. It blew up like the day we were going to New York, but all the advice was you could still go. But yeah, so my point anyway before we move on was like I can't remember if it's like I saw Greenland going to New York because obviously that's up that end of the country. But yeah, but some amazing scenery anyway. But yeah, man, we went to New York at like the start of the pandemic, and as we got in the car, like me and Rosie kind of complement each other quite well because I'm really chilled. I will go with the flow so much, and I like to think I'm organised, but like I generally just fly by the seat of my pants a lot. And Rosie is the polar opposite. Like she isn't a worrier, but like she will. You know, she probably looks at things a little bit more logically than I do. And I'm just like, whatever. And Rosie's like, no, like, this is an issue. And we got in the car, and Adele Roberts, it's literally, I was pulling out of Devizes to head to Heathrow at like 5 a.m. or whatever. And Adele Roberts is like, so that's it. Like, we've hit a new level. Like, Donald Trump has announced a travel ban from Europe. And then we were like, and that was all Adele Roberts said on Radio 1. And we were like, what? We're literally going to the airport right now. And I was like, do I turn around? Like, yeah. And it was the worst drive to the airport. Because in the end, we managed to, Rosie started Googling. And it almost made it harder for us because it was like, it's a travel ban from Europe, not including the UK.
Yeah.
And it was like, so we can go, but should we go? And it was all of this. It was like,
can you get back? And
it was umming and ahhing. And I managed to speak to my parents. And they were abroad at the time as well. And they were like, look, if the flights are going, there's no travel ban in place. And I think it's just before as well, like cases were blowing up. Like, I can't remember exactly, but like, yeah, I think it was at a time where it was like everyone knew it was bubbling up, but I don't think anyone knew how many cases they weren't doing testing like they do now and stuff. And we were like, look, if they're keeping it open, it's got to be safe. We're not going to get any money back, because if we don't go, we're just going to lose all the money. And it's like, look, let's just go and we'll just try. And luckily for Rosie, like, there were lots of people on the flight. People, like, it wasn't like we were the only ones.
Ghost town, yeah.
And everyone had gone, nah, see ya. Like, everyone was still going. So we went out there, and it was cool, but things were closing behind us. And like the news every day, I had to just stop Rosie from watching the news, man, because it's just like, you just get lost in it.
Was
like,
New York dead?
You know, I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like that. But it got quieter and quieter every day.
Was it like a zombie film where like central...
100%. Right, so it was getting quieter every day. That is the base of the Empire State Building.
There's just no people.
There's no one.
No cars.
There's no one. And Rosie was going mental at this point, because she was just like, everyone's gone. Like, no one was there. Loads of people left New York. Everyone was kind of just, I guess, staying inside. Like a lot of New York being busy. One of the taxi drivers was saying a lot of it being busy is people that come in for work.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see a couple of people in the distance. That road, like literally the base of the Empire State Building, that road is heaving. Like, and I was able to just like walk out in the road and just take that picture, and it was crazy. And then Trump announced a travel ban for UK as well, and we were like, okay, well, our flight home should still happen, but like, how do flights work? One goes one way, drops people off, picks people up, goes back the other way.
Oh yeah.
And so we were like, if there's no flights coming this way,
Yeah, how are you going to get
is
back?
our flight going to be going back? So we ended up moving our tickets. Like, BA let us move our tickets to the day before. And then we came back and went straight into lockdown. So but dude, it was tricky.
Mad trip.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Like, everything was closing behind us. We were going and doing stuff, and it was, we got engaged whilst we were out there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was the other thing. We went down to Brooklyn where I was like going to propose and stuff. And there's this little viewpoint that is, I can't remember what it's called. It's got a name, but you can see Manhattan from it. And like, it should be heaving. We went down there, like, only people there. There were like another couple, and they took pictures of us. And like, it's a viewpoint that, like, I'm fairly sure you probably have to queue to get pictures. You're gonna have people in your pictures.
Yeah.
Only people there. Dude.
That's awesome, though, isn't it?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. But like, just walking over Brooklyn Bridge, like, I was cool with it, because I was like, we're never going to see New York like this again.
Yeah.
So it sucks, but let's just embrace this. And like, yeah, like I say, like, Rosie was a little bit more worried. But like, like one of the days we went back to the hotel, and Rosie was just feeling like a little bit overwhelmed by it, and she was like, I'm just going to chill for a bit. Just want to rest or whatever. I was like, cool. Like, I'm going to get an Uber and go and check out the Ghostbusters fire station, like, catching a bit, like, just kind of making the most of being there. But like, yeah, it got...
And Ubers are still running, were they?
Ubers were still running. Taxis were still...
Thank God.
Yeah, taxis were still...
Restaurants and bars?
Yeah, so again, when we got engaged, because it was our anniversary. It was our 10-year anniversary. So we were going for an anniversary meal anyway. So we booked that. But it was like this really nice restaurant. Usually you can't get into without booking. And it was us and two other couples. That was it. It was mental. Yeah, it was crazy experience. So
That's crazy.
James, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks a lot. It was really funny, because I guess because we've done it before, we've kind of talked about career and stuff. Well, this was just hanging out, having a chat.
It was nice, wasn't it?
It's beautiful. Thanks.
What do you think of our new podcast room?
I really like it.
Yeah?
It's really good. It's very nice through the window. I like it. Beautiful window behind.
Where can people find you, mate?
Instagram's probably best.
Yes.
I wouldn't say TikTok.
Yeah.
Like,
obviously.
No, do it. Do you know what? Let's go TikTok. But I'm just like James Threlfall on everything, I think. Maybe Threlfall James on Twitter, but I don't use Twitter. Does anyone use Twitter anymore?
James the Barnacle Threlfall.
Yes, that's it. Oh man, I should get like a bionicle version of myself as a profile picture, right? Can we'll
arrange
that? But yeah, Instagram is the one. That's where I'm at. That's where I live.
Thanks, man.
So thanks a lot, guys.
All right.
Much love.